Heidi ho, everybody. I don't know who all is here. It's my very first live stream. You all are graced with all of the madness that can happen because it's my first time. But as EDB says, live streaming is dynamic. So if you want to put in the chat who you are, I would love that. And if there are any issues, by all means, please let me know. I see a few more popping in. If you want to give me something in the chat, let me know where you're coming in from. That'd be great. And what you want to know about. I'm all ready to dish tonight. So, Susan, good evening to you. You have come to the Tootsie McDoubtfire channel tonight. I would like to know, did anyone get any sort of glimpses of trial today in Adelson? And I also want to know if anyone saw what happened yesterday with Adelson. In addition to that, I definitely want to dish on little Miss Donna. I would like to refer to her going forward as she's the Donna Gotti. She is the Teflon Donna. She's lasted 11 years and nothing has happened to her until now. So she's my Donna Gotti. Um, I'll give just a few more minutes. I see some trickling in. Please tell me where you're coming in from. Say hello and let me know questions, anything you'd like to know about this case. I have to tell you, I have a big fat fail for today. I had a doctor appointment, so I was not able to get on for the Brian Walsh Myles King hearing that also encompasses three other defendants. So I'm hoping that I'll be able to get some more information on that over the weekend and we can talk about it. I hope I have a great seat tomorrow as well. Jody is saying, sorry, I clicked right on your comment. The wiretaps are fire. She is going down. I hope you get a great seat tomorrow. I do too. And I had some concerns. I was thinking, I think maybe we might be getting close to Charlie Adelson testifying. And that's going to make it a really packed courtroom. I think it will anyway. But I'm hoping that tomorrow will be more wiretap evidence. And that's a little boring to start out the day. So I'm hoping it's going to be a light crowd. So I'll be able to just get right in there. So, yes, I am certainly hoping for a great seat tomorrow. I can tell, please tell me what your questions are. I can tell you some of the stuff that went down as far as when I was in court. I know I talked to Nurse Kim on Tuesday night, but there were several other things I observed in the courtroom that we didn't get into. And so I have some notes I was going to kind of go through. If you all are interested in that, if you want to talk about something else, then please tell me that. I would love to answer questions. One of the first things I noticed in court was that more wiretap. I hope Charlie's not Tuesday. Oh, don't tell me what more wiretaps tomorrow. But well, welcome from Panama City. I remember one of the motions before the trial started, and it was in reference to whether they could get into the nasty, nasty divorce proceedings. And the judge ruled that, they couldn't get into specifics about it, but yes, they could indeed talk about in generalities. And Georgia Kappelman said, it's really, I'd like the jury to see the breadth of the documents associated with the divorce. And then I was sitting in court on Monday, y'all. She takes this binder up on the witness stand, and it does not do justice on TV. It just doesn't. This sucker, it's huge. 6 inches is probably not significant enough for the size the binder is of everything they were going back and forth with in that entire proceeding. I did not go to Charlie's trial. No, I feel like there was something, and I said this to Nurse Kim the other night, that I feel like there was something else going on, another trial or something happening at the same time that I got, rooked into, and I didn't follow. Maine Annie Annie Mac from Maine. I'm not sure. Found you from Nurse Kim. Thank you. We love Nurse Kim. She was so gracious to have me on. I cannot thank her enough for everything that she has done and invited me back, and I'm super thankful. And yes, Cuzco, right? All those phone calls and recordings and transcripts. That was rough. Can you imagine that jury? Oof, that's a lot. That's a lot to sit through. I I, I don't know if I could do it in the courtroom. I was like 5 second ahead, 5 second ahead, 5 second ahead. I had them on like, what? Do y'all think they talk a little too slow? Is this just because of where I'm from, or do you think they all talk a little slow? Um, they did all speak in code the entire time. That was so weird to me. And oh, Charlie cannot shut up. What is up with that? It was like non-stop. I couldn't believe it. I tweeted out that Charlie had diarrhea of the mouth that runs and runs and runs. And somebody, I think it was Vixopedia, she had responded back and she said, even after he took imamdium, he couldn't shut up. And I was like, that is great. Imamdium. Yes. I have not hooked up with Auntie Deb to make plans for a chat. He has kind of given me the cold shoulder. My little heart's a little hurt. I have nothing but love for Jimmy. So that one, hopefully will be able to get together. So one of the other things that I found very compelling is there was so much back and forth between all of the parties in the line in the chain of custody, shall we say, of Donna talks to Charlie, Charlie talks to Katie, Katie talks to Garcia, and nobody thought with the bump happening that we should maybe stop talking about it completely. What's up with that? I don't understand. Yeah, I believe TB2 is saying Charlie is the ringleader. I don't know, man. Donna has some mad in control vibes, but she also sounds like she just wants Charlie to shut up sometimes because they're on calls and she's like, mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And he's just, I mean, going to town talking. What else do we have here? Let me see. I would love to put your comments on my screen, but I'm learning as we go, so please be patient with the old girl. I'm just a middle-aged woman trying to struggle through technology. Yes, definitely needed a larger dose of imamdium. Hello, disguised analyst. Good evening, Boston B. I believe we're going to be spending some time together next week. Are we not? Um, else do we have here? Thank you for being a new fan, Kenzie. I love it. Thank you so much. I have a great passion talking about true crime and definitely trials, civil and criminal. It doesn't always have to be that somebody dies. You know what I mean? Charlie can't take a hit. Yes, yay, Boston B. I thought that was you. Um, oh, fantasy football tonight, girl. I totally understand. Things you have to have priorities. Um, let's see, what else do we have here? Harvey didn't know the day he stayed home from work because he couldn't sleep. He most definitely knows exactly what was going on. Okay, so I don't know if y'all were on with Nurse Kim the other night, and I talked about this awkward exchange or moment that I had with Harvey when we were breaking for the lunch break. And he held the door open for me, and I felt really awkward. And then hearing some of the testimony come in today, whew, y'all, I don't feel so guilty anymore about him holding that door open for me. I just don't. I'm totally okay with him opening the door for me because I think he knew. He may not have been around. Well, you all tell me. Do you think he was around and knew beforehand, or do you think he just found out about it afterward? I have my own thoughts on that. Tell me what you think. Yes, Harvey knew it all. Hmm. I would love to see Auntie Deb, Nurse Kim, and me together sometime. I would love that. And yes, I can't wait for Monday night calling all beings because we will be together. They did have a nice life with dinners, parties, limos, expensive homes, multiple homes. Y'all, I have multiple homes. That's crazy. And the jury, oh, does the jury react to the defense attorneys? They seem very unorganized and need so much time to do their job on cross. Yes. So it feels like a long time when you're sitting in the court or watching on TV and um, Attorney Fulford goes up there or Attorney Zellman goes up there and you're waiting and they're fumbling and fumbling. It's an eternity when you are in the courtroom. It feels like forever. And you're sitting thinking, you knew that you were going to have to cross examine this witness, correct? Like, what are we doing here? Let's move it along. And especially, it's super noticeable because Georgia is like, she's just right on it. And then it's like, when we get to the defense attorneys, it's unbelievable the difference in pacing. So let me see some other comments here. I want to make sure that you all are getting your questions answered as best I can. Oh, when did I start trial watching? So, um, that's a hard question for me to answer. Here's why. I grew up in an environment that live streaming, court TV, those types of things didn't really exist until OJ Simpson. And of course, OJ Simpson, everybody in the entire world followed that case. I totally understand. Then there was like a lull, I feel like, where it was hard to get information. And then the true YouTube live streaming, getting completely involved, definitely Johnny Depp, Amber Heard. That kind of pulled me into the YouTube world. And I have been pretty consistently following cases since then. I'm happy to talk about other cases if y'all are interested in some of them that I've followed. And did I follow Sarah Boone? Yes, definitely followed Sarah Boone. Um, and there are several other cases. Jesse Kershevsky, I don't know if anyone followed that one. She was the eye drop killer. I followed that one. Definitely Murdoch, Gwyneth Paltrow, the civil case, all of those kind of high profile ones. Yes, Harvey knew it all. And Lisa Terry says, before, I am guessing you're talking about before Dan was actually murdered. You think that Harvey knew? Yeah. I I really go back and forth. He just looks like such a chooch, you know. It's hard for me to think that he knew and was. I don't know. He definitely knew after the fact at some point. Definitely. Are both of Dan's parents in court or just his father? No. I mean, yes, both of his parents are in court. I did not know because I haven't really researched and done a lot about the Markel family, but somebody had mentioned or said to me that they were no longer married. I didn't know that. And it kind of makes sense because there's a closeness with them, but not an affection with them in the courtroom. So yes, they were both there. In fact, the afternoon session on Monday, I sat directly behind both of Dan Markel's parents. And I think it was probably a sibling that was sitting in that pew with them as well, and the state attorney, the lady that was sitting in between Dan. I'm sorry, and sitting in between Dan Markel's father and mother was the state attorney. And she's been there every single day. I see her in the courtroom every day. Um, I think he knew. Boston B says, I think he knew, but Donna had this handled. Yes, he knew from the beginning. Ruth Marlowe says, I think they all found out after the hit. Charlie arranged it. Oh, TB2, I don't know if I agree with that one. I think Donna's into this bad boy up to her eyeballs. I really do. Um, what Maria Hammond said, what was the big deal about Donna being at Charlie's house for an hour plus? I missed why that was important. Um, I'm going to need a little bit more information to know for sure what you're asking there, Maria. If you're talking about when the GPS said that she was at his house or outside of his house, but she claimed that she never was, I think that might be what you're talking about. Um, let me see. Yes, today was painful, excruciating. It was like running a marathon. Do you all not think that way? I feel like it was running a marathon. And I'm tired from it. And there really wasn't a whole lot to do. It was just not very exciting. It was like a really bad college professor that drones on, which I hope you all don't think that I'm going to. So let's get to more questions. Let's see. Today was painful, yes. I agree. Harvey knew from the beginning. How did I get a number 2 crown? The crown has to do with how many comments one puts in the chat. Me too. Jody says, I went personally to see Depp versus Hurt in Virginia. Couldn't just stay home. Flew to Norfolk for verdict in trial 1. Girl, you are my hero. I would love. Have you been to this case at all? Have you been, Jody 5709? Have you been to the Adelson case at all? I need to know. Let's see. I just recently started watching trials live. I did watch some of the OJ trial, but work, so it was difficult to do. Yeah, I did too. And then Jody says, yes, they are divorced. I thought I had seen that someplace. Yes, yes, the GPS. And she said, I'm outside. I think the reason it was a big deal is because, well, I was going to say because of that she said she wasn't there, but actually was when authorities questioned her. I'm not really sure. That's a good question. Yes, I will absolutely be in court tomorrow. God willing, I'll be able to muscle my way in if there's a big crowd. Um, Disguised analyst, Ms. Janet will always be on the grind. Like and subscribe, being patient on catching up to technology, though. Yes, indeed. I'm seriously a middle aged lady that I just want to talk to people about these lovely things. So it's just Karis. I hope I'm saying that right. Hi, Ms. Demeanor. Loved you on Nurse Kim and so happy to see your content. Thank you. Thank you so very much. Not yet, but tempted. Tallahassee is only a 2-hour drive for Jody. I understand. I understand. Sharky. Sharky, are you my TikTok Sharky? I need to know if that's my TikTok Sharky. Um, let's see. Jody, I am in North Alabama and it's 6.5 hours for me, but I am tempted for the road trip. I get it. I can tell you, sitting in the courtroom, it is an amazing experience. First, it's a pretty large courtroom, especially when you compare it to the Karen Reed Norfolk place. So yeah, it's pretty large. It's super different in person than it is when you watch it on TV. I can tell you that it's a phenomenal experience to see our judicial system at work. I highly recommend it. If you're ever given the opportunity to sit on a jury, do it, do it, do it. If you're ever asked or see someone that is offering to do a mock trial or you to be in a focus group for an attorney, do it. It's an amazing experience. Okay, more questions. Do I think Charlie will take the stand tomorrow while you're there? Sharky, I am hoping. All of us need to be collectively praying that that is exactly what happens. Um, I know. How crazy would that be? Is I saw Wendy. Here's what I said. I'm like, oh my gosh, if Charlie is there tomorrow, I will have seen Rob testify, Charlie testify, and Wendy testify. I got the trifecta. I got all of them. So yes, I'm hoping and praying that he, even if I only see him for just a little while, I'm good with that. What else we have here? Thank you, Boston B. I will keep being me. It's annoying to some people, but here we are. I'm gonna stay. We need a Heidi Koch Northrop. I hope I'm saying that correctly as well. We need a signal that you can subtly do as we see you on the camera, like an ear tug. You need me to do a Carol Burnett? Oh, I adore Carol Burnett. Do y'all like Carol Burnett? She's like one of my all-time favorite entertainers ever. She is so talented. Um, what else do we have here? Hopefully tomorrow we see Charlie. It's just Karis. I went to Dedham for Karen Reed in May, got to meet some great people and go to Canton for a standout. Awesome. Color me jealous. I had to be at my day job, following along on there, following Turtle Boy and everybody else in Canton. Um, got to see some of the pretrial motions at the Karen Reed trial. Actually sat in the first day. Attorney Brennan was in court. He sounded like a weasel. Boston B. You have no idea. I have told all kinds of people when I was watching that trial, he looks like a weasel. He's got that. You know what I'm talking about? I don't mean to judge, but he would do crazy things sometimes when he said certain words with his nose. Y'all know what I'm talking about? Let me know what you're talking, if you understand what I'm talking about, because yeah, very weaselly looking. And yes, please manifest that Charlie is there tomorrow, Heidi. Thank you. I appreciate that. Judge Everett alone is someone I would love to see in person. Getting in for Charlie will be tough. I agree on both counts. So Judge Everett is not a tall man. He has a very very commanding presence in the courtroom. Um, he's amazing, so amazing. I love the way he is conducting business in his courtroom. It's fantastic. Um, oh, Heidi, it's Cook. I am so sorry. I hate when I get names wrong and it's really hard. Weasels are cute, Noble. Yeah, but not Brennan. He's not a cute. I don't think he's a cute weasel, do you? I need to know. I definitely need to know. Um, Sid the Sloth, it is Labor Day weekend, so no court Monday. Bummer, I agree. but I will be on with Boston B Monday night. So we have that to look forward to. Thank you, Dakota, for what a treat. And yes, Jody, I want to hug the judge too. Tell me what it is that you want to know about because I've got notes. I can tell you kind of what the jury looks like and how they're what it looks like they're interpreting things. Um, and yes, Heidi, I think that Judge Everett has been the judge for all of the Adelson trials. Yes, it's been amazing. And I agree. Any judge compared to Auntie Bev is a step up. Y'all tell me if there are certain questions you have, and I'll start. I just need to get a swig of water, and then we will chat away about the jury. Yakety yakety yakety, you know. I don't know if Wendy will be arrested soon. Sharky, I really waffle on that. I waffle on the Harvey business. I think it would be tough based on the evidence that we're seeing in this trial anyway to arrest her. Um, they are definitely looping her in nicely on a lot of evidence. And yes, aren't we all? Do we all not have PTSD from old Bev? There were many times during that trial that my jaw just dropped and I couldn't believe it. I audibly what when something would happen. I, I don't understand it. Is there someone on the jury who could be a problem? I don't see that yet. The note taker definitely seems like she may have a strong personality. But I'll tell you one of the things that I think is going to be an issue for the defense. And I could see the posture and the body language of the individuals on the jury, the men on the jury. And you all have to go back in time to Monday. Monday's testimony was a lot about the divorce. Wendy was on the stand for most of the day. And so those Donna comments calling Dan Markel an a-hole and just really awful things she said about them. It was noticeable that the men on the jury, almost all of the men on the jury, their demeanor changed, their posture changed a little bit. I think that's going to go really badly for, you know, our Teflon Donna Gotti. Yeah, I don't think they were impressed or liked hearing that kind of testimony. That was one of the things I took away from it. Let's hear about the jury. Yep. I can tell you more stuff about the jury too if you have specific questions. What was the jury's response to Donna's emotional show on Monday? I saw no reaction. This jury is very stoic. They do not give a lot of tells. There is one individual that sits on the jury that wears a mask. Um, it is a heavy male jury. I think there are 8 men and 6 women. Um, and they don't give a lot of tells. They watch very, very intently. One of the things that happens, and you don't see this because you're not in there. Um, yes, they do. For the most part, almost all of them are taking notes. Some of them heavier than others. Sharky, I know you just asked that. And don't be embarrassed, Dakota. You can't do anything about the crazy people in your home state. It's not your fault. It's not you. Um, and so there wasn't an emotional response to Donna's display on Monday. One of the things I noticed while evidence was being presented in the courtroom, I don't know what they have in the jury box, but it feels like they have several monitors. that they can look at what's being presented. There is a very large screen directly across from the jury, so they can see that. And then in the gallery, there are two TVs that show the same information. And there were times they were reading emails and the testimony would continue, but something would be left up on one of those screens. And that jury, they were down there looking and reading everything that was in the emails. Even though there were highlighted portions and they didn't read the entire email, they were reading every single thing else that was on the screen at that time, which I found super interesting. Um, is the makeup of the jury diverse? Young, old, are they paying attention? So, interestingly enough, the makeup of the jury, I feel like, is pretty diverse. I think there is a possible indigenous person on the jury. There is a black man, a black woman. The voracious note taker is probably about my age, I'm guessing. And then I'm thinking in my mind, there is a gentleman that sits next to her that he's probably the most expressive. Like I can usually tell because he'll cross arms, he'll do one of these smirky smirk looks, or not a huge nod, but like a little nod when certain things are. It's you have to really be studying to see it, which of course that's what I was doing. So there's an older gentleman. He is bald. There is a man with a beard and a ponytail. There's another man with a pony or with a beard, and then there's two blonde ladies that one looks like she's probably in her 40s and the other's a little younger. So I feel like it's kind of diverse. Like it's a nice mix. It looks like a nice mix. So I hope that answered your question. What else do you want to know about the jury? And I answered about, are they all taking notes? I have never been to Massachusetts. I thought I wanted to go there before all the crazy corruption that I see happens there. It's got me a little scared. Not gonna lie. I'm so sorry, Dakota. um, Dakota thinks, just my humble opinion, I feel that Donna will be convicted. I haven't seen enough evidence beyond a reasonable doubt that Wendy can be charged. She kept her hands clean. I agree. I know I had tweeted at one point that I didn't think, even though I believe she had knowledge before the fact, especially after Jeff Lacasse testified, I don't think there is enough there to push it over from preponderance of evidence to beyond a reasonable doubt, at least not for me. Um, who is the jurist in seat one? I'm not entirely sure. Let me think. I don't know that I can answer that because I wasn't there for jury selection, so I don't know how they seated them, like who's first and who's last kind of thing. Um, oh, Massachusetts beautiful in the fall. I'm sure it is. I know several of the northern states are breathtaking. It starts about this time of the year. Yes, it's fantastic. Sharky says, I think by now Georgia could go through this trial with her eyes closed and hands behind her back. Oh, heck yeah. How did the jury react? Noble is asking, how did the jury react to both opening statements? I wasn't there for opening statements, but I can tell you my reaction. I thought prosecution clipped right along without any problems. And then the defense attorney came up. Attorney Fulford. Did y'all see it? Do you know what I'm talking about? Uh, my jaw was on the floor. I don't know how that opening statement helped her client at all. It was talking completely the entire time about how fantastic a man Dan Markel was, which I think he was. I don't know how that helps your client. Does anybody else feel that way about it? It was bizarre to me. I'm like, what are you doing? What is happening right now? Every state has issues, Heidi. I lived in Illinois for the majority of my life, and I can't tell you how many governors have served prison sentences. I now live in the northwestern part of Indiana, and it has issues too. Avoid Norfolk County. Amen to that. If I went to Massachusetts, I would try to stay as far away as possible. Jody's asking, I wonder how they select the four-person. I can tell you, I have sat on a jury. It was many, many, many years ago. I sat on a civil jury and I sat on a criminal jury. And the way both of those were handled is when we went back to deliberate, that was the first item on the agenda, was to decide who on the jury was going to be our four-person. I don't know how they do it here in Florida. It was weird to me in Massachusetts that the judge just goes, "You are the one anointed. Be gone." I was shocked by that. Was anybody else shocked by that? I don't know how it works in other states, but it surprised me when I saw that. Dakota says the defense is a hot mess. Mm-hmm. Sharky says, I read her female attorney is a disgraced judge who is fired and barred from ever being a judge again. Yes, Sharky. I talked about this with Nurse Kim on Tuesday night, that there were a couple attorneys from the area that I bumped into in the courthouse. And they were telling me they had actually practiced in her court while she was a judge. And they said she was nasty corrupt. And she was actually removed from the bench or chased away, or however you want to do it. She was not completely voluntary in her departure. We'll put it that way. Heidi says Jackie's opening was very strange and uncomfortable. She called him Danny, which was odd also. I know. I completely agree. It was this kind of closeness that I found it inappropriate. Y'all can tell me what you think, because I would love to know. Yes, Jody, defense lawyers are terrible, but Karen's lawyers, Depp lawyers, spoiled us. They were the best. If you watched the Gwyneth Paltrow case, he was a quirky dude, but he kind of grew on me as the trial continued. I really got to like him. And I thought he and the young dude that did a lot of the technical questioning was fantastic. The Adelson, Dakota says the Adelsons can't crime and they have no idea what a good defense attorney looks like. Yeah. Noble, ditto, it was appalling. Actually, her rambling on and her style reminds me of Elaine. Oh my gosh, yes. I did get Elaine vibes. I did. That I was like, oh girl. Mm-mm. You need to tap it down some. We can't be doing what you're doing here. It was untethered. That's a good way to put it. It felt untethered. Let's see. I would love to be on a jury, but not been lucky. I have not. I literally was like 18 or 19 years old when I sat on that jury, and I have not been asked again. There was one time I got into a pool, but didn't even get my number picked. I sat there all day and did nothing. Seems like Donna has Chimu lawyers, Heidi says. Well, she probably had to dip into the officially laundered money, like literally laundered in a washing machine. I don't mean laundered like the banking term is. Terry says, I am a Jane Krakowski lookalike for sure. Huh. I prefer to think that Jane looks like me, but thank you, Terry. Um, let's see. Jody, yes, Paltrow had great lawyers. Yeah, everything about her lawyers I thought was phenomenal. Noble has a question. Is the paralegal her new law daughter? Donna's sobbing show was it was a mess. It was a mess. I don't think, based on what I saw the jury doing, there was absolutely no reaction whatsoever. Um, Tell me if you want me to just kind of go through some of my notes that I have. I talked about the divorce binder. I think I talked on Nurse Kim about how teeny tiny their little notepads are. They're my my notepad here. It's larger than what they write on. They're tiny, tiny. Um, I don't know, Heidi. I feel like it should have been stapled when she washed it. That seems like they kind of roll that way. Put it in a lingerie bag. Yes. Uh, I am torn if Wendy knew. Part of me says yes, and part says no, that Donna did not tell her because she wants to protect Wendy at all costs. I have to tell you, looking at this particular family and how they interact with one another, it's weird. It's the relationship between Charlie and Donna is sick as far as I'm concerned. It is way, way, way too close. It's weird. And how Wendy is like the little princess in the family. It's a weird family dynamic. Um, Dakota says, I can see Donna appealing her conviction based on ineffective counsel. That's all she has. Charlie, too. His attorney was horrible. So many missed opportunities for objections. Um, Sharky, were you in court when the judge told the defense he could send jury home and they go through the binder page by page for objections, even though they had a ruling previously? I'm not sure I know for exactly what you're asking there. Previous ruling. Give me more information, Sharky, and I'll do my best. Jody says, I believe Wendy knew everything as a lawyer. She is an officer of the court, so is obliged to report the acts of her family. And yes, Heidi, I'm a big writer too. I mean, y'all are just getting to know me, but you can probably tell there's not a lot that isn't very large about me. So, yeah, writing is big too. Um, I try not to apologize for that. Some people seem offended, but I try not to apologize. Noble, I couldn't believe it. Wendy had 3 lawyers present, one for every personality. Uh, yeah. I don't know what, I mean, technically, I think there were 4 lawyers there for her. I think you only saw 3 primarily in the courtroom, but I feel like my memory is wanting to say there were 4. It was insane. Um, how do you think Wendy is adulting now that her mama is no longer there to plan out her life? Okay, so with a narcissistic mother, which our Teflon Donna Gotti is, everything she does is she lives through Wendy. That's why Wendy's kids, she feels like, are basically her kids. What Wendy does, whatever Wendy succeeded at, it was like Donna succeeded at it. I get the sense, based on the emails that were read on Monday in court, that Wendy was very, very torn at the time that Dan was. Um, and the reason I say that is because there was that one email that she sent to a friend that she was saying that she didn't want to move down to where her mom and dad were and that she was satisfied. She didn't want to take the other job. And I think there was a big battle going on with Wendy at that time, and that she really, really wanted to separate. Having said that, now that she has separated, I get the sense there's still a fair amount of closeness between her and Harvey, which would make sense because I don't think that Harvey is a narcissistic father to her. And I don't think he's a narcissistic father to any of them. And I think she's probably living her best life away from mom's involvement, to be perfectly honest. That's my take on it. Um, they were objecting due to laying foundation through witnesses, and they felt the state hadn't met that burden. Sharkey's talking about the taking the binder home. I can't imagine the jury would be allowed to take anything home. They don't even get to take their notepads home. Now, he may have said they could take the binder in the deliberations and be able to go page by page through all of it. I think that might be answering your question, Sharky. Oh, let's see. Heidi, she had an entourage of lawyers. Yes. Foundation is like cement. Ruth Marlowe, I think Wendy is the master manipulator and manipulated her family because Dr. Dan had found someone else and was moving on with his life with someone better than her. Oh, nice twist. I like that, Ruth. I like how you're thinking here. Heidi, that makes sense. So she caved and moved to South Florida. Eventually, I mean, there was no reason. They eliminated the reason for her to stay in Tallahassee. So how do you, what leg do you stand on for that? So, um, Dakota says, Sharkey, I remember what you're talking about. Defense was relitigating what was argued and ruled on pre-trial. Oh, yes. Isn't this when Judge Everett was kind of like, we're done? Is that the oh, no, I meant the judge would send the jury home, then him, the judge, and the attorneys would go through the binder page until they were clear. Oh, I think you're talking about I do vaguely remember a motion about that. Yes, the judge was heated about it and was like, "We're done. I'm not doing this anymore." Um, which I would not want to piss off Judge Everett, not in any way, shape, or form. Yeah, I maybe I'll get an answer tomorrow when I'm there, Sharky. I'm not really sure. And as far as the manipulation goes, I do think Wendy is a master manipulator. And Nurse Kim and I talked about this, and I said at the time that I felt like she's learned, she has like two default settings. One is damsel in distress, and one is ultra calm. And so I think that's probably what was going on there as well. Yes, Wendy does remind me of Elizabeth Holmes too. Crazy eyes, crazy women. What is wrong? Crazy eyes are always crazy. My husband says that all the time. That girl's crazy. Stay away from her. Okay. I do think Charlie will take the stand. I think that they're entering all of this electronic kind of evidence that we had to endure today, like sleeping on pins or nails, either or. But I think he's still going to take the stand. Yep. I feel like I read somewhere that he had been transferred someplace close to this courthouse, so I feel confident that he will actually testify. Notes again. All right, let's see. I told y'all that Harvey takes notes. The I call him the nodder. The juror that is what I call the nodder. He's the one that gives the most, emotes the most. When there was a conversation about Dan Markel making decisions in and not including Wendy, and that, Donna was having a fit about it. He just did this very like, hmm, like, so he was very interested in that. Let's see. We already talked about Wendy's bedhead. Goodness. Um, when she took the stand, I expected there to be some sort of reaction from the jury about the statement that Judge Everett made about immunity being given to her. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Because I know if I were sitting on the jury, I would kind of be like, why do you need immunity if you didn't do anything wrong? So, but they had no reaction. All right, let me get some more questions here and I'll go back to my notes then. They wouldn't have transferred him if they weren't. I think I agree. Charlie is a talker and he is telling them all. I agree, Noble. I absolutely agree. I think the state will end with Charlie. I think so too. I think Dakota says, I think Charlie's arrogance will be gone. I think he's probably done some fast growing up in the pen. Dakota, we'd all like to believe that, right? But I think that leopard ain't gonna change its spots. And I think that he's gonna yakety yak when he gets on that stand again. I don't think he can help himself. I think that it is just a personality trait of his, and I am so hoping that I'll be there for it. Because if I'm there for it, I will totally be there for it. um, let's see. What kind of Sharky wants to know what kind of case in chief do I think the defense will put on? I'm not entirely sure where you kind of go with this. I think they're probably going to take the stance that she didn't hire the hitman, she didn't pay anybody money, she didn't talk to Katie about it. She didn't. It's going to be like she's so far away from it, so nothing could have possibly happened that she had any part to it. I just don't think it's going to be effective. I kind of feel like that's all they have that they can use, because any other type of options, once you hear all that surveillance, all those wiretaps and the emails, oof, the emails. Mm-mm-mm. Bad, 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 bad. So that's really the only thing I can think of that they can do. Find it interesting. Harvey takes notes. I believe he's brushing up for his own trial next. I thought it was interesting that the Markells and Harvey were taking notes. So yes, that again, one of those things you don't see unless you're in the courtroom. In Dakota, Sharky, I don't think they have a solid plan. You know what? Based on what we're seeing in the courtroom, yes, girl, yes. Uh, Bedhead was super bad. I could never be with someone like Charlie. As much as I like to talk, that would never happen. There'd be like some war over words. Um, yeah, Charlie has the right to remain silent but lacks the ability. Yes, I think we saw that on many of the wiretapped calls today. Let's see. Yeah, Alice Maudlin says, I'm so happy Charlie never had my phone number. He repeats himself way too much. Couldn't agree more. Let's see. You could smell. This was one of the notes that I specifically put down. You can smell the distaste Georgia has for Wendy Adelson when you are in person. It is dripping from her. She has absolutely no favor for Wendy Adelson. The Nodder took a lot of notes during Wendy's testimony. And the Match.com. Do y'all remember the Match.com testimony that came on when Wendy was testifying? This one had me feeling a little creepy. I was a little uncomfortable sitting in the courtroom. The reason I was uncomfortable is Donna was picking out people on Match.com for Wendy to date and to answer to. Y'all, that's gross. Get a life, woman. Leave Wendy alone. What are we doing? What are we doing? Uh, I was shocked when I heard that. And you could see the heads kind of, everybody looking at each other like, what in the world? That is a creepy, creepy thing to do. Absolutely creepy. Um, I also put that I'm not buying her memory issues. All of a sudden, she has all these memory issues only when Georgia's asking the questions. When the defense, when Ms. Attorney Fulford was asking her questions, she remembers specifically the day she had coffee with her mother and what they discussed. She probably could tell you what kind of coffee they had and whether she had 2 lumps or one. I'm telling you, it was weird. Uh, $1 million. So when the $1 million offer to Danny to relocate, when that came up, the nodder was feverishly taking notes. He took a lot of notes. And also when the Nazi references about dressing the children up, the big note taker, she was feverish during that testimony as well. Let's see. I have a note here: exhibits being left up or left up on the screen are being read by the jury. Yeah, I thought that was a good strategy. Good job, Georgia. I think that was a really good thing to do. All right, let me get some of your comments here. So yeah, yes, Dakota. Georgia loathes Wendy. You could see it. While Wendy was in D.C. even and picking men on J-Date, is J-Date a Jewish dating site? Is that what that is? Because Alice is saying, wasn't it a Jewish dating site? They also said, oh, I am so sorry. My phones are ringing. Let me get rid of that. They also said Donna called someone pretending to be Wendy. Yes. I thought that was creepy too. Nobody in my family pretends to be me when they call somebody. What was that about? Help me, y'all. What was that testimony about that she pretended to be? It was about money transfers. It, it, um, what was that? Oh, this is going to drive me insane. The bank. It was the bank. Thank you, Kim. Chat. Awesome. Love chat. Yes. So yeah, she pretended to be Wendy and called. Jewish. So it was a Jewish singles dating site. Weird. In Dakota, yeah. Well, I told you the other night that with her memory lapses, I was having Jen McCabe PTSD. I'm like, what are we doing right now? And Kelly Deaver. Y'all know it's Dever, but we're never going to call her Dever. It'll be Deaver because she doesn't like it. I do feel bad for the Markells also. Hearing Wendy say she never loved him. Oof. Then all the things the Adelsons did to torment him. So sad to know what they put him through. I could not agree more, Alice. When you look at it through that lens, it's so, so sad. Um, it completely avoidable. Everybody could have just gone their own ways. I feel Wendy was pressured so much to take this nice Jewish man as her husband. And I think that things got out of hand for her and she didn't know how to get the train off the tracks, is what I really believe. Um, Boston B, do you think Harvey and the Markells are taking notes for a civil lawsuit? Wouldn't surprise me. It would not surprise me at all, especially because there's a state attorney sitting in between them. Why would a state attorney be sitting in every single day of court? Good question, right? Heidi, thank you for going live. I am enjoying your show so much. I believe she IG'd her up for both match and I don't know what IG. I think you mean that she pretended or put the entire account up for her. I think so. And yes, Kim, it was the value of Wendy's account, which then Donna had plenty to say about it after that. I feel very bad for the boys not having their father and not being allowed to see his side of the family. That's devastating. They're not they're not being allowed to be given a choice, and that's tragic, very tragic. Um, Wendy was very jealous of Dan's new girlfriend. He had found new love. Yeah, see, juice box. I missed that whole part of it. I'm gonna have to do some digging on this now. So Dakota says Donna and Charlie are hoisted on their own petards. They have no one to blame but themselves, but they have zero self awareness, always someone else's fault. Hey, that's how narcissists operate. It's always somebody else's fault. They don't do anything wrong. Donna also phoned Gary to keep her new job position open. Yeah, it's just so enmeshed and intertwined. Ugh, so gross. All right, back to courtroom notes, and y'all can say what you want in there, and I'll get back to you. Okay. What do we have? Doesn't lots of notes were being taken by several jurors during the testimony that Georgia elicited about the Grandma motion and the timing of things, and that she did indeed know that there was no way to appeal anything. There were lots of notes being taken at that time. The one of the jurors at one point in during the afternoon on Monday completely there's testimony happening and everything and completely turns and is just like looking at everybody in the gallery. It was very odd. So I put a note down because I'm like, what a strange thing to do. And I told everybody about Wendy coming in after the lunch break and sitting next to her dad, and then her attorney separated them. And okay, the TV testimony. Again, we have to go back. This is all during Wendy's um, testimony when she was on the witness stand. When they talked about the TV repairs and who called to set it up and how much it cost and what was wrong with the TV and all of that, lots and lots and lots of note taking was going on at that point. I put my notes actually say that over half of the jury was taking notes while that testimony was going on. And then I put that boyfriend is key. And there was a jury reaction when she testified something about her being seen as a suspect. I remember there was a reaction from the jury when that testimony took place. And I had to laugh because my girlfriend was with me and they kept talking about how old Donna is. And I wrote a note to this is one of those times you all saw me smiling and giggling with my friend because I was writing notes to her. And what I said is, she was your age at the time. So made us feel really good that we're old heifers, you know? As soon as Attorney Fulford came up to start any sort of cross examination with Wendy, the jury fell flat. I think I told y'all the other night that 3 of the jurors, I'm not going to say they were sleeping, but they had their eyes closed. They were bored, fidgeting, fighting sleep, you could tell. Let's see. And then we talked briefly about Attorney Fulford. She had a very unusual way of cross-examining Wendy, and I thought it was odd that she did this attack mode at the end. I don't think it hit the way that she wanted it to. Like she's really driving everything in. Um, I don't think it played out that way. Let me go back to some of your questions and comments. Kim Farm says, I missed the part about Dan finding someone else too. Yes, I'm going to need to figure that out. I want to know who she is, that poor woman. Sharky, when Wendy drove by and saw the roadblock by police, why didn't she call Dan to check in as he had with the kids? I think that entire testimony of the minivan is a setup for what may be charges brought against Wendy. That's what I think that's about. And absolutely. Dakota, you're doing a great job. Thanks for taking this time to share with us. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Cuzco, I think Donna is closest to the paralegal sitting next to her in court. Yes, the paralegal is the one that sits and rubs her and pats her, and it's her new daughter. Alice says, thanks for the jury insight. I'm so happy we were introduced to you by Nurse Kim. I am too. Thank you so much. The whole TV thing is so lame. It really is kind of a dumb excuse to have her not around. Her name, oh, Juicebox. Girl. Juicebox, are you a male or female? I hate to say girl if you're a dude. So anyway, her name is Amy Adler, very successful attorney from New York. Dan flew Amy down to meet his boys just 1 week prior to the atrocity. She's beautiful and brilliant. Of course she's beautiful and brilliant. Look at him. Come on. I'm yakking a lot, so I got to keep the whistle wet. Okay. Sea salt and driftwood on catch up. Would love the lowdown on the prosecution ladies' outfits when you are in court. Hi from England. Yay! Hello from England. Yes, Georgia's suit that she had on Monday. It was good. I know not every. I heard rumors that Melanie Little was just completely disgusted by it, but hey, that's why the world goes round and round, because everybody enjoys and appreciates different things. I loved it, and I had mad suit envy. I will give you the lowdown when I'm there tomorrow as to what she's wearing and whether she's got her snake skin or eel skin pumps on again. I'll give you the lowdown. Count on it. The Donna whisper, Kim Farnham. Yes, yes. The paralegal sitting next to Donna is the Donna whisperer. Yes. Noble says, I think Wendy married Dan solely for her career. He was a beloved and very successful lawyer. She was a student at that point. Pretty sure she got her position thanks to Danny. I think you're right. I think you're right on all of that. Ding, ding, ding. I hate to say that, but I think that's true. Those recordings and transcripts were tedious. Tell me something I don't already know. That was brutal. Brutal today. If I run into Wendy again, ask her to do a TikTok with you. I don't know. I feel like she's got some bad juju. I don't know that I want her to get too close. Juicebox says she is Amy Adler. Yes, the ex-girlfriend. I thought you were saying that Juicebox is Amy Adler. And I was like, what? Juicebox says, I am a 57-year-old grandmother. Good for you, Juicebox. How many grandchildren do you have? That's what I want to know. And 57 is obviously treating you well. Good job. Yes, we could Google Amy Adler. I need to do research on how to be able to do all of that. Sharing my screen. I don't want you to go through the pain of me trying to do that. It would be completely unfair to all of you. But the next time I have a live, girl's going to have it going on. So yes, I'm all about Googling Amy Adler. Heidi says, plus it was a TV they rarely watched per Jeff. Have you spoken to the lady with the blue sunglasses? She looks like she would be fun. I have every intention of talking to Blue Shades Lady. If Blue Shades Lady is there tomorrow, I'm going to try to have lunch with her. Y'all just wait and see. That's my plan. According to Reddit, Amy is an NYU law professor. Yes, she comes from a well-known family. Lots of information about her. No, stay away. I was just kidding, Sharky. Yeah, I don't want to be around it. And yes, the paralegal Juicebox is Donna's emotional support human. You're right. Nicely done. I have a second monitor, Heidi. I just don't know how to operate all of this. I need to do like a little tutorial thing, in my IT department in tech support is going to be helping me with that this weekend. So I will have it all together, I promise. Now we have another motive for Wendy to kill Dan. Yeah, new girlfriend was prettier and more intelligent. Dakota, thank you. We need to spread the word about you. You definitely need more followers. I absolutely appreciate that. I only have a few more notes that I took about the jury, and we will probably call it a night unless you all have more questions or things that you want to talk about or other cases. Why does Jonathan Adler sound familiar to me? Sorry, I don't even have ADD, but sometimes I'm like squirrel. Yes, Sharky, I am so excited about CrimeCon. We will talk a little about CrimeCon, but let me get through my notes. The designer, that's why I know that name, of course. Jonathan Adler is a designer. Thank you, Heidi. So at the close of Wendy's cross-examination, literally the jury was like, what just happened? What was that? Was there a point? They looked completely confused and baffled. It was really a very strange way to end the cross examination. During the Robert testimony, oh, yeah. They were so alert. It was an absolute tennis match, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Oh, nobody was paying attention to anything except what Rob Adelson had to say. And you could feel the sadness about his entire family situation. I just wanted to go up there and give him a hug. I just felt so bad. Um, yeah, I felt really bad about it. Oh, notes. This was an interesting thing when the testimony came out that Donna, um, when Rob said that Donna hated Dan. I'm telling you, those men on the jury, they were like looking at Rob as he was testifying. And as soon as that came out of his mouth, eyes right over to Donna, like, you said that? It was so instantaneous. So, yeah, super cool to see that immediate reaction. And yep, I put this jury is riveted by his testimony. They really were completely all in on it. And I wrote this phrase, brutally emmed, because that doggone defense attorney says it every time, and it just makes me feel icky. Do you all feel icky when she says it that way every single time? You let me know, because I found that like, yeah, didn't like it. Boston B says, like and subscribe to the awesome misdemeanor. Yes, please do. Please. Do I live in Florida? I do live in Florida. We definitely appreciate your time. It can be exhausting keeping up with chat like you do, slow sessions at first. Yes, I know. It's easy for me to keep everybody as engaged and as included as I can. What was with Robert's hair? I don't know. He strikes me as somebody that is not entirely interested in appearances. And I think it may be in defiance of his upbringing, is what I really think. Alice says, I'm shocked by her defense after Karen Reed's defense. Seeing Donna sit at their table and discuss their questions after prosecution rests is astounding. Karen's had theirs ready. I know. I know. Rob is the only Adelson I respect. Yep. And I guarantee you, Jody, Rob probably has PTSD. There's no probably about it. I'm sure he does. Wendy also named Amy's ex husband as a possible shooter in the initial interview. She was on the top of Wendy's brain. Look forward to Misdemeanors Deep Dive on Amy. Oh, yes, I'll see what I can find for you all. Cited Tammy says, excited to see you in court tomorrow. Thank you. I am excited to go. Want to drive to Rob's ENT office near me and give him a hug. I know, Welcher's emotional support laptop. I feel the same way. I wish I could send like a virtual hug or a sympathy card that he got away from his family. I don't know what to do for him. Wendy was, oh, Robert probably got zero rest before testifying. I think it may have been a little cathartic for him. I really feel that way. Wendy was ready to throw anyone and everyone under the bus. I agree. Chris Vincent, I found you through Auntie Deb. That was hilarious. Enjoy listening to you and your humor. Thank you. I do so appreciate it. Yes, Jonathan Adler is Amy's famous brother. You know it very good. Rob is the star witness and a great human. I was estranged from my biological mom. He had to have a ton of anxiety testifying. Yes, I'm sure that he did. First a hug, then a haircut. Only if he wants a haircut, he may be perfectly okay with his hair. He might be thinking, I am slaying this look. Robert's eyes made mine tear up. I felt his pain. I'm so happy he removed his family from this mess. You didn't feel that in the courtroom because you're so far away. But after I watched it on replay, his particular testimony, and yes, I would, if I were watching it on TV, I would have been bawling. I think Rob is completely utilitarian. He is a minimalist. Yes, I completely agree. I just found this channel, Juice Box. Awesome. It was sticking up on one side. Wondered if it was a misplaced toupee. I don't think so. I think that was probably all of his hair. I felt so bad for Rob, as we all did. Glad he got away from those monsters early on. Rob was the most effective witness for the state. Miss Janet, what color are you wearing to court tomorrow? What side of the courtroom will you try to sit on? I like to sit on the prosecution side because I feel like I can see the jury better. So I'll probably try to get on that side again. What color? I haven't the faintest what I am, but it is not my personal favorite team. I have a different one. But I try to support my husband. So yes, he is a massive Jets fan. Congratulations, card maybe for surviving growing up in that family and getting away. I absolutely agree. Thank you for your time tonight and hope we will see more of you. You will absolutely see more of me. I have some plans that to do regular live streams on Wednesday nights. You can mark your calendar if you're interested. It will be called Wine and Crime Wednesdays. And the wine is not necessarily this, it might just be the kind of wine too. So that's my plan, is to have a live stream at least every single Wednesday. Congratulations. Let's see. Thank you for your time. When the defense attorney says what? Sorry, I missed it. Juicebox, I'm not sure what you're talking about for sure. I think I have to tell the woman in the chat a bit about us men. He seems to have a bald spot and he combs it over. That's absolutely a possibility. And yes, Cuzco, thank you. I just need you all to like and tell everybody else how much fun you had tonight. I had a delightful time. I am so excited to be at CrimeCon next week. I've never been before. This is my first time. I am looking forward to sharing all of the details. I will try to do some lives while I'm there. It's really going to depend on the schedule and how exhausted I may be at the end of the day. But I will keep you posted if I am planning on going live or I have any videos. Y'all know to follow me on YouTube, where you all have found me. I'm also on TikTok and X, which I think a lot of you have also found me. And yes, I'm hoping to be able to live stream while I'm at CrimeCon at some point. Um, yes, Lori Daybell's son will be at CrimeCon, and Wendy, as far as what I was told on Monday in court, Wendy now resides in Texas. That that is what I was told. There was a Denver address that was used at one point, but she it was just kind of a fake address to keep people away from where she really lives. So please remember to subscribe if you haven't already. Tell your friends to subscribe. Hit the like button. Tell me how great we all did tonight and how much fun we had. And I will look forward to seeing all of you come back to see your Tootsie McDoubtfire. And maybe one day we'll get the famous Auntie Deb on with us. Until next time, please always, always remember to make good choices. Thanks, guys. Have a great evening.